Yesterday, the news broke of an Irishman who's being held in a concentration camp in the United States. He's been there for more than 5 months. His name is Seamus. He's married to an American citizen. He's lived in the United States for decades. He owns his own business. He has a work permit and no criminal history, but he has been stuck in a concentration camp for 5 months. And we were only able to learn about his story because he did an interview with an Irish radio station. For folks, especially our friends outside the United States, please understand how much of this information is being hidden from us, how much is being suppressed. We aren't hearing the stories of what's happening inside these camps nearly as much as we should, because attorneys are trying to tell us, but immigration attorneys are being denied access to their clients. Their clients are being moved around in the middle of the night with no notice. They're being lost in the system. We're hearing that people who are being kept in these facilities, these camps, are not being able to contact their attorneys, but also not being able to contact their family members. There's so much opacity because they don't want you to know, right? They don't want you to know what's going on inside these places. And unfortunately, for people who don't have a representative in Congress who is willing to go to these detention facilities and cause a big stink and bring the press with them. My Congresswoman Maxine Dexter has done that repeatedly. She helped a family with a little girl get out of detention earlier this week, a family who was abducted on their way to the emergency room here in Oregon. She got them released. But it really requires you to have a member of Congress who is willing to do that. And so for folks in so many districts around the country where they have MAGA members of Congress, they're languishing in concentration camps. And our corporate media, our state-controlled media, is actively suppressing this information. The regime is actively suppressing this information. I want to share some of the interview that Seamus did with Irish radio. The interview is quite upsetting. Seamus says what he is experiencing is physical and psychological torture, and it is for the other people in the camp as well. Thankfully, Irish radio is covering it. Then very quickly, The Guardian covered it, and now it's everywhere in the United States. Before you listen to this interview, please understand two things. One, it is not lost on me that this story is likely going really viral because Seamus is a white European man married to a blonde white American woman. That's no dig on him. But suddenly an awful lot of people of European descent are like, oh, maybe this could happen to me. Maybe this isn't just going to be something that they do to brown folks, to immigrants from Africa and from Asia. Maybe they're also going to do it to white people. They already are doing it to white people. And Seamus is evidence of that. So it hits home for people in a different way. And I wish that wasn't the reality, but it is. And I'm so grateful that he is willing to speak up. But I also want people to understand, second thing, his experience is not unique. What Seamus is going through is what hundreds of thousands of people are going through in this country, including loads and loads of little children. The laws in Texas are particularly favorable to running concentration camps. That's why you see so many of them there. The one that Seamus is in and the one in Dilley, Texas, that is keeping hundreds of children. So please understand in a moment when you hear this interview with Seamus, what he is describing is the shared experience of hundreds of thousands of people in the United States who are being tortured, starved, kept in concentration camps. And all of that is being funded by the American taxpayer because the Republicans voted to give a giant bump to DHS in the big betrayal bill. Republicans are the ones who are facilitating and funding Stephen Miller's reign of terror, Stephen Miller's ethnic cleansing, his terrible, inhumane, cruel, evil vision for this country of concentration camps everywhere. That's how Stephen Miller and DHS have been able to buy up all of these concrete warehouses around the country that they want to turn into windowless concrete boxes to keep hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people. When they run out of immigrants, they're going to stuff American citizens into them. So please understand, when you hear Seamus describing what is happening to him, that it is at the same time happening to hundreds of thousands of people in this country. And if Stephen Miller and Donald Trump have their way, it could very well happen to you.
The best way I could describe it is probably like a modern day concentration camp. It's a bunch of temporary tents. There's probably room for 1,000 detainees in each tent. I believe there's like 5 tents. I've been locked in the same room now for 4.5 months. I've had barely any outside time, no fresh air, no sunshine. I could probably count on both hands the amount of times I've been outside. So I'm just locked in this room all day, every day. We've got 2 TVs on the wall. We get 3 meals a day, very, very small meals, kid-sized meals. So everybody's hungry, everybody's tired. We've got no commissary, we've got no options to get extra food or anything like that. And the conditions here are filthy. The toilets, the showers, completely nasty, very rarely cleaned. I'm in fear for my life down here, honestly, because people have been killed by the staff here, by the security staff, and you just don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. You don't know if there's going to be riots, you don't know if there's going to be, you don't know what's going to happen. It's a nightmare down here.
What we're learning is that part of the reason that Seamus is still in this detention facility is he had one more interview to get his green card. It was scheduled for October. They abducted him and stuffed him in detention so that he could not make that appointment. He missed that final green card appointment because he was in a concentration camp in El Paso, Texas. So now he's in violation, right? Now he's missed an appointment because he was abducted by the government and stuffed into a concentration camp. This is the catch-22, that they're putting tons of immigrants, and we're hearing over and over that immigrants have upcoming final appointments to get their green card or the next step in the asylum process, right? They've made all of their appointments. They've done nothing wrong. They are here in this country in good standing. They have a legal right to be in this country. Immigration and Customs Enforcement abducts them, stuffs them in a concentration camp, makes it very difficult for their lawyer to get to them. They then miss their next appointment, and then suddenly oh, you didn't show up to an appointment. Now you're in violation. Now you're here illegally. Now you have fucked up, and we can now do whatever we want to you, right? In this interview, Seamus said, "My own family in Ireland is also suffering. My mother especially. She is heartbroken. Just do as much as you can to try and get me out of here, please. I just want to get back to my life. We were so desperate to start a family. I'll take any help I can get now at this point." And remember, Seamus's story is not unique. ICE has taken 400,000 people in the last year, and according to the Cato Institute, only 5% of those had convictions for violent crimes. The vast majority, I think it's 67%, have no offenses whatsoever. And in between that 67 and 95%, they're like parking tickets or missed an immigration appointment. Very, very small infractions, right? And again, Seamus has none. And for hundreds of thousands of people, they have done nothing wrong. Core Civic and Geo Group are making billions of dollars a year, keeping people in concentration camps, keeping them hungry, depriving them of their liberty. Ethnic cleansing is big business in the United States. This is what capitalism does when it is unchecked, when it is used, harnessed by a sociopath like Stephen Miller. What's happening to Seamus is unconscionable. It should not be happening to anybody, and yet it is happening to hundreds of thousands of people in this country, including thousands of children.
¿No te gusta la comida?
Que quiero salir de aquí y que quiero ver a mi papá. Muchísimo. Extraño a mi maestro. Usted no tiene orden.
Valentina, cuéntame, ¿cómo estás?
Mal, aquí me siento mal.
¿Cuántos años tienes, corazón?
Tengo 9 años.
Y dime, ¿por qué te sientes mal estando allá adentro?
Porque me siento presa, no me gusta el agua. Quiero hacer un llamado al senador Juan Castro que nos ayude a salir de aquí, a volver a ver a mi abuelita Carmen, a un juez federal también que nos ayude a salir de aquí. Y también quiero hacer un llamado con el presidente Trump que también que nos deje quedarnos en su país. Quiero estudiar, quiero aprender inglés. Yo quiero aprender inglés, pero no aquí, quiero ser libre.